the I formation for week 3. My name is Jeff Gibbons.
And I'm John Moist.
And we're here to talk very quickly about what happened last week in week 2 of the NFL. Change of scenery today. All of our jerseys were in the wash. We decided to step upstairs and work it out here in my living room. So, John, I know last thing I said before the game started on Sunday, sitting here with a buddy of mine getting to watch the game. And I remember saying, at any given Sunday, any team in the NFL can beat any other team. And boy, was that prophetic.
Was it ever?
What a week this week.
Yeah, no bigger upset than Arizona Cardinals going in to beat the Pats.
No one believes this, but Glenn will tell you, my buddy was sitting there, that was exactly what I said. I said, twice a year, Arizona shows up with an unbelievable defense and knocks off a big team. And I was kind of hoping it was going to be this week.
You know something, not everybody realizes this team, the Cardinals have won 9 of their last 11 games overall.
Incredible team. And you know what? I'm really beginning to think Kevin Kolb has won that starting job again over Skelton. You know, I know the injury is there, but you got to go where the wins are. And I think that that fella could lead these guys to greatness. They're a better team. People talking about them actually vying for first place in that division. Not sure I'm sold on that yet, but certainly a team to be on the watch.
Kevin Kolb, dating back to last year, has gone 3 games without an interception now.
Well, he's up there against people like Alex Smith now to try to push to the top.
I don't know if he's that good.
We'll see. When was the last time he threw one? College, was it I said today?
Thanksgiving last year was the last time Smith threw a pick.
Still pretty impressive. So let's look and recap at some of those games. So some pretty big games today. I can smell the stinkiness of some of those picks that went off of on my side this week. Neither one of us did really well,
no.
But certainly let's recap. So let's talk about what happened last week. I think let's look at what we call the team of the week. And
Arizona is definitely our team of the week.
Yeah,
I think we agree.
Thumbs up for sure. Any team that knocks out Brady and the Patriots, I'm all over that.
At the Arizona defense is for real, led by Darrell Washington. He had 13 tackles this week. Led the defense.
Lewis-esque almost.
Shut down Tom Brady and the Patriots.
I knew
Nobody saw that coming.
I knew they were in trouble after the first quarter when it was all field goals all around. You know, Brady had that 34 game touchdown or 34 regular season game consecutive games with a touchdown pass in jeopardy. That went to, I think it was 2:09 left in the fourth quarter before he finally caught Gronk in the end zone.
Nice.
I was sort of rooting for that. You know, I was kind of hoping that was going to snap there because as I may have said before, I hate Brady.
Yeah, the second game that the Pats have lost at home since 2006.
Yeah, impressive. I'm
Yes.
hoping these kinds of trends continue. But certainly the football goes to them this week. They were fantastic.
Yes.
Let's talk about player of the week. Who do you like there?
Reggie Bush.
Well, what a coincidence. We both agree on both of these this week. And smiling as a Miami Dolphins fan this week, knowing that at week 2, the Dolphins, who looked so abysmal last week, shut down Oakland and now own part of the lead in the AFC East. I can say that.
172 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns for Bush. The entire Oakland team was shut down by Miami's defense. They had 23 yards rushing in total in this game. So Miami has found an identity now, and they can stop the run and they can run the ball. Ground and pound.
Hello.
And,
I said that in week 1. Where's Reggie Bush? And you're right. Tannehill will come his own, establish the running game. I think, you know what, they have very able receivers in Devon Bess, and certainly at the tight end position, you got Anthony Fasano. I'm expecting better and brighter things out of that Miami team.
They're better than I thought.
Mm-hmm. So next on the agenda, let's talk
Chicago
about
Green Bay. What about Jay Cutler?
You know what?
Think all that.
I don't know what to say there. I think that game is close. In the first half, both teams, and even on the first 2 series, one on each side, both quarterbacks get sacked. They're hemmed in, 3 and outs. And I think the game is set in tone defensively. Both defenses came to play.
Seemed like it was going to be a close game. It did.
And when was the last time you saw 12 sacks in an NFL game? No matter who put them up on the board.
I can't remember.
I know 7-5,
I've ever
right?
seen 12 sacks in an NFL game.
It was impressive. But, you know, unless Roethlisberger was playing, maybe we'd see what they run. But I do say, you know what? A couple of questionable calls there at the beginning. We saw that 12th man on the field. I see it as a momentum shift. I'm not blaming the referees here, but as those things change, that AJ Hawk little dive there, we should get him a tutu. I really think that was ridiculous. After that, ball gets taken back out of Green Bay territory, and they don't capitalize on that next rush after that field goal.
Momentum changer, yes, but 4 picks and 7 sacks for the Green Bay defense. It wasn't a momentum changer that lost them this game. Jay Cutler came out and he lost his cool. He even pushed one of his offensive linemen on the sidelines. He was bad for the team on this week. He was not a leader.
Absolutely.
He acted like a spoiled brat.
And that's where I was going with it. I think that, it built like a snowball rolling downhill. But to see him push that lineman, that was just, it was too much. I've seen the pictures of him, his hands on his hips and everything. Ridiculous. Jay Cutler, you need to step up and lead this team. And if you're not capable of doing that, you need to move over and let somebody else do it. Because this Bears team is a very, very capable team. Now with the addition of Brandon Marshall, we're losing Matt Forte now for 2 to 6 weeks in that injury. That's a setback. But that defense,
Michael Bush can take that over, no problem.
Absolutely, and that defense is the same defense that got him there in 2005.
Absolutely, yes.
Right? And again, the question mark then was Rex Grossman. Who knew? Okay, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Bears are a lot better than the game they played.
And I look forward to Soldier Field with all the people backing.
Yes.
All things being equal.
Yes. Kansas City and Buffalo next.
They just get better and better, don't they? I call Kansas City for the second time straight. Not sure what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't understand why they're not running the ball down everybody's throat with Peyton Hillis and Jamal Charles. Dexter McCluster being used in a utility role now as wide receiver. He was really quiet this week as well. There's a lot of good things there. Matt Castle's not playing at the level he needs to play. That game, they have to establish that run and they have to go to play action. And I think that they can win games. But they just play poor.
Chiefs is right here. Buffalo, 0 turnovers. Chiefs, 3 turnovers. You can't win a game like that.
No.
Then you got C.J. Spiller, who I picked to have a big game. 170 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns. A lot of holes in that KC defense right now.
They're going to have to stop them, or they're going to go to the basement real quick. And
Yes.
again, I had something for these guys right from the beginning. Figured they were a better team than that, and like I said, they're gimmers of brilliance, but they're just not putting it together. And they're really going to have to work hard to fix those mistakes. Those turnovers are killing, John. You're absolutely right.
New Orleans and Carolina's next.
Another big upset there. You called this last week. We both went with New Orleans, but you did say that this was going to be a close game. And to your credit, they were able to pull this out. Drew Brees had a reasonable game. I think that they just were that much hungrier. You had that division rivalry, and they just came out on top.
Saints gave up 219 yards on the ground to the Panthers. You can't do that and win very many football games.
So that and turnovers kill you, don't they?
Yes.
So what else?
Cleveland, Cincinnati we have next.
The Bengals pull this one out by the slimmest of margins. They are not the team that contended before. As a matter of fact, I think they were drilled. Got to be honest with you. They should have put more points on the board against Cleveland. I really think that they could have shut this team down more effectively. Being that close is definitely warning signs, red flags all around.
Yeah.
To your offensive coordinator and your
Dalton
defense.
had 3 touchdown passes.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the best of it for them. I don't think Cincinnati is the team that we thought they were either. So on we go to Minnesota and Indianapolis.
Got to hand it to Chris Berman. Swami, just a shout out to you, one of your biggest fans. And I am going to say that you nailed this right to the wall. You even got the score right on this. And for that, I salute you, my friend. 23-20. Andrew Luck gets his first professional win. Played very well.
He did.
And this team is slowly gelling. Reggie Wayne had a big game for these guys. He's starting to use his field to his advantage and stretch that field very effectively. He looks a lot more polished than I would expect this close with that.
Very close football game. It was a late 53-yarder by Vinatieri that won it. I actually think that Minnesota might outplay them, but it only matters what's on the scoreboard at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Peterson played reasonably well.
He
didn't have the game he had last week, but
no. On to Houston and Jacksonville.
Well, we knew Houston. What can you say?
Put it this way, Arian Foster had 147 all-purpose yards, 110 on the ground and a touchdown, and the Jaguars had 141 yards of total offense. So Foster beat him by himself.
We're taking any prop against
Houston
that team.
Texans defense is stellar.
They're a very powerful team. I'm looking at that team. I see them winning that division. I see them scoring or winning 13 games at least this
I
year.
see him as the best team in the AFC right now.
Wow. And
So far.
And again, we already talked about the AFC East, and we think the Patriots being the best of the worst. No fooling with this group, and like I said, not a lot of competition. I think that they're going to clean up in that division.
In that division, for sure, yes. Tampa Bay at the Giants.
Tampa Bay. Well, you know what? Freeman didn't have a bad game. He was my pick last week for Player of the Week, and I stuck my neck out there. You know what? The
Eli
Giants.
Manning, 243 yards passing in the fourth quarter alone. He had 510 yards passing in the game. You had Cruz for 179, Nix for 199. These guys just lit up 25 points scored in the fourth quarter.
Nix with that gimp foot. Came back there and still was able to get out and get the job done. That pass was classic Eli Manning to Victor Cruz in the fourth quarter. That 80-yarder.
80 yards.
Just dropped it in like a ball going into a basket. And you know what? Hard to beat that. But they came from behind here. They really put their game together. Tampa Bay took it to them. They're a step away from greatness in my book. I still think they have a lot going on there. And I think that as the season goes on, they're still going to be a figure. I'm looking forward to the rematch in Tampa Bay.
Exposing the secondary for sure, though. Their secondary is weak, and they showed it in the fourth quarter. I mean, Manning did what he wanted to.
Still 34 points against this Giants team, so there's something to be said about the defensive secondary for the Giants. And we talked about that last week. There is a hole there on that side where Cole was. They really need to get that together. They're not going to score 41 points against every team in that division, much less any other team in that cycle. So they need to really get their act together defensively. They're still on the board. They could go either way around the fence, shall we say.
Yes. Baltimore and Philadelphia. Now, I'm not sure what Harbaugh was thinking about in this game. I was watching some of this game, and Baltimore were running passing plays on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. You got Ray Rice there.
It was an interesting set of calls. Yeah. I know they're trying to balance that running game and that pass, and they're trying to give Flacco a little bit more, control. But it's Ray Rice.
And it's 3rd and 1.
You got to give that ball to Ray Rice. It's like when you're in Miami when Lusaka Polite was there. If it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, Polite got the ball.
Yes.
Ray Rice gets the ball the same way, and he makes that play.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you why are you blowing third down conversions? This is just poor offensive coordination. And I think that cost him the game. The defense showed up. Ray Lewis showed up. He had a sack, and he had at least one fumble recovery.
Fumble recovery, yes. Yeah.
So, he came to play. That whole defensive line came to play. But you know what?
Brent Selleck for Philadelphia had 157 yards.
He was huge.
Receiving in this
huge.
I didn't saw that coming either.
No, they didn't. 1 point game, and I call that to be a field goal game, maybe even overtime. It was 1 point.
Oh, yes.
Michael Vick calls his own number. Classic Michael Vick.
2 interceptions, and he wins again.
Yeah, here a pick.
That's 6 interceptions for Vick.
Yeah, that's right.
In 2 games, and he won them both.
And he's 2-0.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that? They're going to have to write that ship, or that's going to change.
Yes.
I mean, they were very lucky again in week 1, right? And, 1 point. Classic games to watch, but they're going to have to be careful.
And on to Washington, St. Louis.
Got a feel for RG3. He put up great numbers again this week.
He did.
Played a wonderful game.
He did.
He's even the broken plays out of the pocket. I love watching this guy run. He reminds me of Vic in a lot of ways. Be able to get out of that pocket after collapses and still make positive yardage. He's got a cannon for an arm. Mm-hmm. But I think the defense let him down a little bit this week. I mean, to score as many points as they did, you got to win these games. I really believe that.
We both called Washington, but I remember after the podcast last time, we both agreed that St. Louis could win this game. We had a feeling about it in that way. The emergence of Danny Amendola, now he's been there before, but 160 yards on this day. Amendola is a great wide receiver, and he's going to be one to watch for sure. Now on to Oakland and Miami.
Well, there's another upset. The Miami defense dismantled the Oakland Raiders this week.
Oakland looked awful.
They did. They looked terrible. Good to see those guys in the defense.
And we already talked about Reggie Bush and...
they're a different team. As a matter of fact, I kind of like them this week against the Jets, but I know we're not agreeing on that.
No. And next we have the Jets and the Steelers.
That felt good. Can't tell you. Sticking to the man, Rex Ryan. Pittsburgh went in there without Palomalu, thank you.
Harrison as well.
And Harrison.
Yeah.
And
Clark came back, and it was a lift for him.
Yep, but they were able to go in there and shut them down.
Yeah.
They were great. Roethlisberger played well.
Roethlisberger had 10 different receivers in this game.
Balanced.
Yes.
Well, I mean, without Mendenhall, they had to go in different directions. I admire that team's spirit. I still don't think they're as good as Baltimore. I think they're a good team, and I think both of them make the playoffs, as we said in our first broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully injuries don't get the better of that. I mean, like I said, they're still dealing with a little bit of thinness in their depth chart now, but hopefully it
I see a battle between Pittsburgh and Baltimore for that division.
Oh, absolutely. 1-2.
Just like every other year.
12 wins. 12 wins is going to win it for you. 11 wins is going to get you a wild card spot in the AFC anyway.
Okay, that's it for the games.
Mm-hmm. So stay tuned. We're going to give you our picks for the week coming up and talk about our player pick for the week and our team player for the week.
Hi, welcome back to the I Formation. Now we're going to do our picks for week 3. And first up is a Thursday night battle between the Giants and Carolina Panthers.
I see this close, but I see the Giants winning this game. I think that they need this game. That's just a gut feeling. I'm going with gut feelings now, John, because you know what? Apparently statistics don't seem to work very well.
Well, Giants showed what they can do in the fourth quarter the other day. I don't see Carolina beating them in this game. I'm going to pick Giants as well. Big game for Eli Manning again. Mm-hmm. Next, Houston at Denver.
Tough one there. Houston bringing all those guns in. Arian Foster. But I kind of like Denver as well. I'm going to pick Houston in a close one.
I'm going to pick Houston as well in a close one. I agree. I think Houston has a better defense, and with Arian Foster on the ground, I think Houston is the best team in the AFC right now, and I think they're going to go into Denver and beat my Broncos. And next we have St. Louis at the Chicago Bears.
As much as Chicago has let me down at least once this year, I see the Bears rebounding here. I think
Pissed off Bears team.
Well, yeah, it's going to be it's not going to be pretty. I think they're going to win there, and they're going to win one at home for the team.
Yeah.
I think that even without Forte, I think, like you said, Bush is going to get the job done on the ground.
Hey, Bush did it last year when McFadden was out for Oakland, and he can do it again now.
And if they're smart, they'll put the ball on the ground after what Cutler did this week.
Yeah, definitely. Cincinnati or Washington?
Well, the Bengals are in trouble. I think they're going to Washington. They get smoked in this game. I think RG3 has another huge game. He's going to emerge as one of the best rookie quarterbacks to ever play in the National Football League. And I think he does what he does best. He goes to those receiver sets, and I think he lights up the Bengals.
A couple of key defenders gone for Washington. They lost them in the first quarter of the game against St. Louis. So I think it maybe be closer than you think. I still picked the Redskins to win this game, probably by a touchdown. Yeah. And next we have Detroit at Tennessee.
I don't care what Tennessee throws. Even with Chris Johnson on the ground, I think Detroit wins this game.
I think Detroit wins this game big. I think Stafford is due to break out. He hasn't broken out in his first 2 games. He's up against a weak pass defense in Tennessee, and I think Stafford has a huge day in this one. And we agree on that one. So next we have Kansas City at New Orleans.
If you think I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs for 3 straight weeks, and you know what's going to happen
This
now,
will be the week they win.
Exactly. Well, it can't get any worse now. You know what? I think Drew Brees rebounds. I think he has a big game. I think that the Chiefs, you're right. Unless they run the ball and they establish that run and Matt Castle steps up, nothing's going to happen. I say New Orleans by 10 points.
I agree. New Orleans is going to have a big game on the ground. Kansas City weak on defense. And New Orleans is at home and really need this game. And they're going to beat the Chiefs. 10 points sounds about right, I think. Next we have San Francisco at Minnesota.
Alex Smith. I don't care where they're playing. I think
Absolutely.
one of the, like you said, one of the most mistake-free quarterbacks in the NFL. They're going to do a really good job. I think they'll pick apart Minnesota defense. Gore has a big game on the ground. They established a run, and I think that they win this one big too. I figure 12, 14 points.
Funny you should mention about Alex Smith. He extended his record. Now 216 straight passes without an interception. That is the San Francisco 49ers record, and look at the company he's in with. I mean, 49ers, we're talking about Montana, we're talking about Steve Young. That's an impressive record. And I think that Alex Smith will go into Minnesota and lay the boots to him.
Boot to the head.
Yes. Next, we have the Jets at Miami.
Guess what? My interest has been rekindled in my Miami Dolphins. Very excited to see that they finally listened to me about running Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush came out last year and played the second half of the season with Moore, and he lit things up. At one point, I remember he had one game, he ran 206 yards on the ground. Sick running skills. And establishing that with those able receivers like Fasano, Devon Bess, even without Brandon Marshall, I think that they can come up with some big plays. Tannehill's going to grow on the roll, but they need to put that ball on the ground. But I think Miami can beat the Jets at home.
This is always a close game. Always a battle between the Jets and Miami. I just think the Jets have a little bit more defense. And I think that they're going to come up with maybe a key interception or two that'll put them over the top. I'm going to pick the Jets by a field goal in this one.
I look forward to Rex Ryan putting Tebow in the backfield and running the Wildcat offense and then fishing Cameron Wake's hand out of his throat. So I pick the Dolphins to win this close.
Jets, close. Buffalo or Cleveland next?
The Buffalo Bills. You know what? I'm going with Buffalo this week. Cleveland, I don't think, has any kind of weapon possible that's going to stop this Buffalo team. C.J. Spiller is incredible on the ground. He had a huge game this week. He's Fitzpatrick, a good platoon kind of quarterback, get the job done. Johnson is still not 100%, but still capable of catching that ball. And I think they win big against Cleveland. I don't see anything slowing them down. Now, having said that, Buffalo has stung me twice this year, and this will be the time that I go against them, and they'll get hammered. But I think they go in there and they just kill Cleveland.
I don't think they kill Cleveland. I see this as a low-scoring game, and I see Cleveland keeping it close. I'm going to pick Buffalo as well, by less than a touchdown.
Yeah, I see it differently because I'm seeing at least 7 points over a turnover. That Bills defense, if nothing else, is capable of getting the ball turned over. Mm-hmm. And they have scored big dividends. Remember last season, the beginning of the year, the turnovers, how they beat the Patriots. Same idea, points off turnovers. And I think that's where the extra points come in. I don't think, as an offensive showdown, one to the other, I don't think this is a big difference in points. You're right. But I think the difference is going to be the defense.
Cleveland as a secondary has a habit of showing up big at home. I don't think Fitzpatrick's doing anything in this game. Buffalo will win it and by less than a touchdown, and they'll win on the ground. Tampa Bay at Dallas next.
Wow. So we got two teams licking their wounds. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just put 34 points on the board against a depleted New York Giants secondary, versus a team that had so much faith in Tony Romo after week one going into Seattle, and are going into
Seattle.
Yeah, it was Seattle, and getting their asses handed to them.
Yes.
I see this. They're playing in Irving, right, in Texas.
Yes.
So back in the Jerry Dome, I think that that makes a difference. I think they get a bounce back game here. I think using their home field, I think that Romo has to come up with this big game. This is important for his career. This is important for this team who is starting to build on a theme. And I think that they're going to win this game at home. Again, I don't give them any more than 4 or 5 points in the difference, but I see them squeaking this one at home.
I don't see it as a squeaker at all. I think Romo has a big game. Dallas wide receivers have big games. Bryant, Austin, big games. I see Dallas by 2 touchdowns.
On the same side, anyway.
It's Jacksonville at Indy.
It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Indy by 15 points.
Indy by 15 points.
Yeah. Andrew Luck is going to build. I think that I like the whole Reggie Wayne thing. I like that Luck has stepped into this role now, and in week 2 has a pretty impressive win. It was just all the points that went together. You know, being able to manufacture points even with the field goals and keeping in a close game, being able to work that clock. I think he does the same thing here, only I think he decimates his team. I'm giving him a couple of touchdowns. I think he has a big game.
Jacksonville did nothing against Houston. Indianapolis is not Houston. I don't think Indianapolis has a great defense, and I think Jacksonville can go in and beat them in this game, and I think it'll be an upset. I think Jacksonville's going to beat them by about a field goal. So
that'll be interesting on the last swing of 18 points on our spread. Okay.
Atlanta at San Diego.
Got to go with the Falcons. You're right. They've moved up the NFL power rankings as one of the best teams now in the NFL. Matt Ryan, an incredible performer. I say 10 points here.
I agree. I think the Falcons got too many weapons. You're talking about Jones, you're talking about Gonzalez, Roddy White, Michael Turner. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You got John Abraham on defense. Just a great team and a real contender. And I think they're a much better team than San Diego. Even though San Diego's a great home team, I pick Atlanta in this one too.
Did I mention I hate Phillip Rivers too?
That makes both of us. Philadelphia at Arizona.
Wow. Yeah, interesting one here. So now we have a team that has thrown 6 picks in 2 games and is 2-0 versus a team that just beat the New England Patriots. Going to be an interesting game.
Yes.
I think this is close right down to the... I could see this, pick the over-under on this to be 20 points. I see this to be a really low-scoring game, a field goal fest, to be quite honest. Kevin Kolb is in there. He's capable. But you know what? That swarming Philadelphia defense is also going to give him trouble too. I think this is so close, you could taste it. And I'm going to say that Philadelphia wins this by a field goal.
I'm going to predict an exact score and say Philadelphia 17-14. So we're dead on that one.
It's almost like we collaborated. It's kind of scary, huh?
Picking an exact score is dangerous, so I'm bound to look bad.
Unless you're Chris Berman, apparently.
Pittsburgh at Oakland.
Well, Oakland played so poorly against the Dolphins this week. Yeah, it was a little column A, a little column B. I think that the Dolphins' defense deserve a lot of credit for the way they handled that team this week. Shut down the run and cover the lanes out in the corners. I thought they did a great job. You've got Pittsburgh, who just had a big game against the Jets this week. I think they can go in there and they can do it again. I think Pittsburgh wins this game.
I think Pittsburgh shuts them down in this game. It is in Oakland, and Darren McFadden on the ground, but Pittsburgh's another team that can shut down the ground game. And Oakland has Carson Palmer thrown to nobody, as far as I'm concerned, in the air. And I think Pittsburgh is a much better team than Oakland, and I think Pittsburgh will win this game by 10 points.
And that's without Palomalo, without Harrison.
Yeah.
So yeah, that team can only get better defensively. But you're right. Wow, we agreed on a lot of those.
We did. New England at Baltimore is next.
I got to take the Baltimore Ravens here. I am so stoked to see this game.
It's going to be a great game.
Sunday nighter. There were a lot of things. You know what? Arizona, again, that team that shows up once in a while. And we're going to see them a little bit more defensively, I mean, from that strong, that really, really strong, smothering kind of Chicago Bears / Baltimore Ravens defense, that really gets the job done and mobilizes the team. And I think we're going to see Baltimore go with the Patriots. You're going to see Ray Lewis, right? You're going to see, you've got a team now that has exposed the fact that offensive line was having trouble. Brady went to no huddle into the second quarter, trying to shake things up, and still couldn't score points against this Arizona team. And I think you throw people like Ray Lewis at Tom Brady. I watch that all day long. I hope he has a Mike Singletary limb fest against Brady. I see them holding them, not to the number of points that Arizona smothered them to. I see they go back to back. Flacco needs to have a good, solid game, and Ray Rice has to get the ball on third down. But I see them winning this by a field goal.
Ray Lewis is going to spend all week dreaming about ripping the limbs out of Tom Brady. which is what Mike Singletary used to say. I really like Baltimore in this game. It's a revenge game from last year's loss in the playoffs. Ray Lewis and company are going to come out stoked, and they're going to win. We hope. And Green Bay at Seattle is the Monday nighter.
What a sin.
Yeah, really. Seattle, great home team. I mean,
Yeah, they are, but you know what? They're not the Green Bay Packers. I'm sorry. This is a
these
team.
Cowboys handle it.
This is a team.
Manhandle them.
Yeah, but the Dallas Cowboys are not the Green Bay Packers either.
No, they're not.
We need to understand that Green Bay is going to win this game. They need this game. They're going out on that West Coast swing. They will use everything in their power. They're going to utilize Cedric Benson. They're going to utilize, the air game. And I think they just win this game. I just see Green Bay overpowering.
Yeah, Seattle, great home team, but like Jeff said, Cowboys are not the Packers. And the Packers showed last week why they are the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. Packers by 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely. And that's it for the picks this week. Stick around and we'll give you our conclusions on who we think will be player of the week and team of the week.
Yes. Welcome back, and now we're going to make our picks for team of the week and player of the week. And my team of the week will be the Atlanta Falcons to go into San Diego and hand the Chargers a loss at home. I think that the Falcons have a much better team. I think that Matt Ryan is a much better quarterback. I think they have too many weapons. I don't think San Diego can play with them. And I think that the Falcons will win this game by about 10 points. They're my pick of the week for team.
Good call. My pick of the week this week, the Baltimore Ravens. After losing that really, really close game this week in Philadelphia, looking for that revenge game. And now, what better week to do it but week 3 against the Patriots at home. The rematch now on home turf. Ray Lewis is going to be something. Picking them to have a huge game defensively, and I can't wait to watch Brady pushed into the ground 100 times.
I think we're both stoked for this one. My player of the week is Ray Lewis to go in and rip Tom Brady limb from limb. And Lewis is going to come out stoked. He's going to come out and he's going to get about 100 tackles in this game.
Bears. There'll be nothing but the smell of blood and Old Spice.
Brady's going off in a stretcher. Anyway, we love the Patriots.
Yes.
And who's your player of the week?
My player of the week, not nearly as glamorous. It's going to be Alex Smith going up against Minnesota this week. I think he picks them apart. I think he has a huge game, and he does what he does best. He plays good, clean football and doesn't make mistakes. And as you said a couple of times today, especially when we talked about Kansas City, that's what makes the difference. When you don't turn the football over, you don't make big, stupid mistakes, you win football games.
He's a top 5 quarterback in this league. I don't care what anybody says.
There's a reason he went in the draft when he did.
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay, so that's our picks for the week. That's the show. Come back next week and see how we do. And you know what? I'm still going out. I didn't really go out on a limb this week, but you know what? I didn't hold back. But I got to tell you, I said I've wondered what it was like to play it safe and use a really nice color nail polish when you're in your foot bath. So
yeah, well,
you enjoy that this week.
Yeah, actually, this is my favorite color. But bottom line is, you're either right or you're wrong, pal.
That's all right. I still got lots of weeks to make it up.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You always start slow.
That's
then
right.
You come catch me.
That's right. That's right. Because my body builds momentum. So anyway, that's the I formation for week 3. It's good night from the man room, living room from Jeff.
Have fun.